I will talk to you on tolerance as expressed in the Holy Quran. Tolerance means enduring the society of someone or enduring without any protest. In the Quran, the word used mostly is sabr. Sabr means being patient, and patience means the ability to wait for results or to deal with any problem without any haste. And also it means enduring trouble, suffering, inconvenience without any complaint. The word here is tolerance, and in tolerance also what happens is that sometimes you endure someone's remarks or actions, sometimes you don't. That is called intolerance. And why does this intolerance happen in the society? I will give all the verses which are relevant to this problem from the Quran. The first one is Surah 2, and the verse is 111. And it says in Arabic, Tilka ammaniyuhum qul hatu burhanukum in kuntum sadiqin. When the Jews said that only the Jews would go to heaven, God advised the Muslims to say that they should produce any proof or evidence for what they are saying if they are truthful. This is the basic thing, or this is the basic statement which is very much needed for understanding tolerance. Why? Because whenever you face different opinions, or opposing actions, customs, anything, beliefs, anything, the only thing to convince each other in the dialogue is to say that you have to produce any proof or evidence for whatever you say if you think that you are truthful. And the second verse is 256, Surah number 2, 256. In this, we are told that God said in the Quran, La ikraha fid deen, qad tabayyana ar-rushdu min al-ghayy. Now here, the advice is that you don't have to force anybody to accept your opinions or actions or any advice or instructions given by God. You have to convince him. This is the code of life given to you by God in the Holy Quran. And why? Because all the right way of doing things or the right course of action is given in the Quran, and the wrong course of action is also given. So you have to tell them what is right and what is wrong, and then it is up to them to choose any opinion or any belief. And here in Surah number 9, verse number 5, there is a very good example of tolerance of others' religions. It says that those with whom you have treaties of peace and harmony, but they have defied those conditions of treaties, then if they repent, if they are sorry for what defiance they have made or what unfaithfulness to the treaty, then you have to give them a chance if they repent and they are sorry. So if they are ashamed and repent, if they are sorry, then also the second thing they have to do is aqamus salat. The first word is tabu. Tabu means return back to the right course of action. And aqamus salat means that they have to follow continuously and keep following it. Keep following here, it means the terms of the treaty. And the third thing is atus zakat. This means that they have to put up fruitful action with good results on the terms of the treaty they have agreed to follow. And then again in verse number 6, Surah number 7, Surah number 9, God said in Arabic, I am quoting from the Quran, that if those of the mushrikeen with whom you have a treaty and they are observing it faithfully, they are not defying it, when they come to you for protection, give them protection. Keep them safe. That means don't harm them because of their different beliefs. But, and the Arabic word is Astajaraka fajarahu hatta yasma'ul kalam. You give them protection till they hear the Holy Quran, the words of the Holy Quran, the statements and instructions given by God in the Holy Quran, and then they can live peacefully in your house, and then you take them to a place of safety. And again in Surah 9, verse number 11, it is repeated that if they repent on the defiance of their terms of treaty, I mean the first group who both the groups had a treaty, but one group observed it, the other did not. And mushrikeen, I tell you, is the group of those people who believe in many gods other than the one and the only God. And Muslims believe in only one and the only God, Allah. This means one who is to be obeyed and who is obeyed in the whole universe. In this verse, God says, if they repent, if they return back to the observance of the treaty and the conditions of treaty, terms of treaty, and they repent, they are ashamed of their defiance or non-observance, and وَأَقَامُوا الصَّلَاةَ, and follow continuously what they have agreed to. Salat always means literally the following, and akamu means keep following or keep it ready to be obeyed and followed. Wa'atu zakat means, I told you, and they should give actions which are fruitful, on the fruitful actions for the terms of the treaty. That means they have not only to be ready to follow, they have to say it, but they have to act upon them practically in order to get good results effectively. Nowadays we say effectively. Then they are brothers. فَإِخْوَانُكُمْ فِي الدِّينِ. Then they are your brothers in the religion of God, in the code of life given by God in the Holy Quran. According to your way of life, which God has given you, then they will be your brothers. That you must treat them just like brothers. In Surah 12 and verse number 108, we find "Ud'u ila Allahi ala basira." Here, God has given a basic instruction that whenever you call upon others to agree with you, to convince them about the way of God given in the Quran, then you have to base it on reasoning and thinking. This is called basira. Basira literally means looking at, seeing at. Now that means just as they see something with their eyes and they believe that it is there, in the same way they have to think about it on the basis of reasoning and argument, and then they have to accept or reject. It is up to them. In Surah 14, verse number 12, 14:12, I quote from the Quran. The Arabic words are, وَلَنَصْبِرَنَّ, you must be patient, you must tolerate, عَلَى مَا أَذَيْتُمَا, if they trouble bother you, give you any kind of trouble or hurt or inconvenience or harm, for hurting physically or mentally, the word is aza or azaytumuha. Then when they hurt you or harm you by any action or by anything saying against you, then you have to trust God and you have to be patient over it. You have to tolerate whatever they have said or whatever they have done. So difference of opinion and the difference of belief should be tolerated according to the Holy Quran. In Surah 16, verse number 125, we have, and I quote from the Quran, "Ud'u ila sabili rabbika." Call upon others to accept your opinions. That means invite them to these ideas which are given by your Lord and Master. Rabb is Lord and Master. Bil hikmat. Hikmata is wisdom. Wisdom in Arabic it means decision, so that they may decide what is good for them and what is bad for them. If it is bad for them, they may reject. If it is good for them, then they may accept. This is called judgment. Hikmah. Hikmah means judgment. Judgment means wisdom. Wisdom, the intelligence or the wisdom also. In wisdom also, we have to select what is good for us and what is bad for us. Well, ma'iza means advice, or good advice or good instruction, that it is good for you and you should therefore accept. And that is ma'izatul hasana. Hasana means good advice. And the third thing is wajadilahum. Jadilahum means dispute with them, discuss with them, argue with them, billati hiya ahsan, in a nice way, in a good way. This is how God has advised the Muslims to obey and to act upon. Unfortunately, Muslims seem to have forgotten all these instructions given by God in the Holy Quran, and they are following the instructions given by human beings, which they should not, which they were warned not to do in some other place. In verse number 20, in Surah number 20, verse number 130, I quote, the Arabic words are, فَاسْبِرْ عَلَى مَا يَقُولُونَ. Whatever they say to you, which you don't like, which you dislike, or which are against you and opposing you, your ideas or against your ideas, indifferent to you, then you have to be patient. You have to tolerate all that. You don't have to react or in response or do anything. وَسَبِّحْ بِحَمْدِ رَبِّكَ. Appreciate and you should praise for the good instructions which God has given you in the Holy Quran, and then you must work according to those instructions. Sabbih means work. Rightly, it is translated at some places in the Holy Quran. In Surah number 24, verse number 22, we find the Arabic words, wal ya'fu. Ya'fu means pardon them, excuse them. Don't do anything against them. Leave them alone in their own thinking or in their own actions. The actions mentioned are here that some of the near relations of the Muslims, they were not accepting their way of life or their religion or their deen, and they were therefore not hurting their feelings, or they were not doing something good to them, and therefore they said that you should, they were told that by God that you must excuse them, pardon them. Well, yasfahu also means that you must ignore whatever they are saying or doing. You must forgive them, and you must also pass over whatever actions or whatever statements they have made or whatever they have done. Why? Because if you want that God should also protect you from faults and sins and mistakes, then you should also protect them because of their faults and mistakes, so therefore pardon them. In verse number 33, Surah number 33, verse number 58, we find another good example in which it is said that وَالَّذِينَ يُؤْذُونَ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ وَالْمُؤْمِنَاتِ. That means those who bother, who hurt, who harm the believing men and women for something which they have not done. That means they falsely allege them. They say something which they don't mean, or they do something which they have not done, and they are said to be understood like that. It is called allegations, false allegations, which they have not done actually. And then you should, Bohtan is the word, that you have not to allege them falsely, that you have not to do anything which is not true or which is false. And this is also an instruction which asks them to tolerate their ideas and not to react or in response. In verse number 58, in chapter number 43 and then 58, we find the words and a good example of of tolerance also. Here they are talking about their gods, I mean the mushrikeen, they are talking about their God, and they are also talking about Jesus Christ, and they say, who is better? And then God says, Ma Zarabuhu. They only state this example or this saying, they only say this, they only express these ideas because because they want to dispute with you. They just want to quarrel with you. They don't want to have a peaceful, good dialogue to convince you. They just want to prolong their discussion, and they are not obstinate enough. They don't want to accept, but they just want to have a dispute with you. And therefore, this is the argument, or this is the statement which they are making about Jesus Christ. Disputing is also disallowed in the Holy Quran. In verse number 10, and Surah number 73, chapter number 73, we find the words, وَاسْبِرْ عَلَى مَا يَقُولُونَ, the same words again here. Be patient over whatever they say, tolerate their ideas. وَأْجُرْهُمْ أَجْرًا جَمِيلًا, leave them alone nicely. That means you don't have to respond in any bad way. And I quote here the last of all the verses which I find relevant. This is chapter 109 and verse number 5 and 6. I quote the Arabic words, وَلَا أَنْتُمْ عَابِدُونَ مَا أَعْبُدُ. They are not going to serve those whom you serve. That means you are, O Muhammad, O peace be on him, you are serving Allah, and you are working according to his instructions given in the Holy Quran. This is called ibadah or abidun. Abud means I serve only God. I serve only Allah. I work according to his instructions in the Holy Quran. And you serve your forefathers or your religious leaders, and you work according to their statements or their instructions. This is your service. This is your ibadah. And therefore, lakum dinukum waliya deen. I have my own code of life on which I work, and you have your own code of life on which you work. This is deen. Deen means a code of life, instructions given by God, only one God, or instructions given by any human being or human being, that is called deen. There are two types of religions mentioned here, and there are only two types of religion. Thank you.